happening, because this is exactly what the piece is about. Is that it's like our lives are separated by something and we keep interrupting ourselves. So I think it's really wonderful. It's okay to include that, absolutely. So the piece is about the idea that there's a window between us and what we perceive is happening, and we can choose to open that window or break that window or use that window in some ways to mask how we feel or what we want other people to think about us. And I really have enjoyed the process of making this piece 10 years ago, and then seeing how either my life or the world has changed, and how the piece continues to evolve. And continues to feed me as both a dancer and a choreographer. A friend of mine asked me earlier this week, what do you see in the piece now that you didn't see 10 years ago? And it took me a little while, and I think that 10 years ago I was more interested in the spatial lines and the patterns that my body was making, and certainly the emotional impetus was there, but it hadn't developed fully. And maybe it hasn't yet, but now, tonight, this weekend, and as I perform it throughout, into the next year or so, I feel like it's more emotional. It's more about going back to the window, whether it's, there are images for me, a cat sitting at a window watching out of what's happening, or a child up at the top of a skyscraper, maybe the Sears Tower, maybe the Chrysler Building, and seeing the world, or shutting the window because the noises are too loud, either in our head or actually too loud for us to deal with things. And there's a moment where several times I go back to this diagonal that is like the window. And there's a moment where I give up and I break the window through, both with my arm and my leg. And that's like the climax or the breaking point for the piece, so that then I can leave. I exit before the lights are out. So saying that the window is still there, and not in any way like an end or a death to the piece, but that maybe someone else will come to the window next. Or maybe a year from now, or in 5 minutes, I'll go back and see what is there for me.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, great description. I know you spoke about the diagonal.
Yeah.
Is there any gesture that has particular meaning for you that you could demonstrate?
Sure. Because our body is not in straight lines, our bones and muscles are spirals around themselves. And so much of what I'm doing in this space in relationship to this pretty straight diagonal, the lights are not creating what our bones and muscles actually look like, but I am twisting across myself, just to show the complexity of it. It's not straight lines, and nothing in life is black and white. Nothing in life is perfectly clear for us, and I feel like my body represents some of that, and I love how that makes me feel. Sometimes it's joyous, but certainly it's very clear in the piece how sometimes it's very sorrowful.
One thing I saw when you were performing it was your use of focus was very strong.
Yeah.
I thought your eyes were very expressive.
Well, thank you.
I don't know if you want to comment on that.
That's something that
Repeat what that was.
Okay. The use of focus in this dance and in many of the solos that I've made for myself, I think draws both for me an internal focus of what is it that I'm trying to say, but also it allows the audience member, either having seen the piece the first time or the 10th time, to not have to just see the pictures that I'm making, but how the pictures are starting to tell a story, and the story can be different every single time. But the focus, hopefully, is usually the same. There's same images I'm trying to evoke inside myself each time, but it might change.
Well, that might be what I was seeing, was that you were connecting to the image. But, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good.
Great. Anything else you want to tell us?
No.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.